The Nigerian court has taken a new turn in Nnamdi Kanu's case, requiring him to defend himself as his lawyers have withdrawn from the case. Report claims that US President Donald Trump has shown interest in the case and is monitoring judicial proceedings in Nigeria. The report reveals that top American officials have allegedly stormed the Nigerian court to observe how the Nigerian judiciary handles the trial. Meanwhile, some critics have alleged that the Nigerian government supports terrorism, particularly targeting Christians, with claims that Nigeria is attempting to be Islamized. Nigerians have reportedly taken their grievances to the US Congress, urging intervention due to widespread insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria. Proponents of Biafra's secession from Nigeria claim they are being oppressed, and also discuss efforts to gain international recognition. Republican Congressman Chris Smith has called for Nigeria to be designated a country of particular concern for religious persecution. However, the Nigerian government has denied allegations of religious persecution and asserts that the insecurity affects both Muslims and Christians. While the critics have further alleged that Nigeria and foreign allies have been exploiting Biafra's natural resources while neglecting its people. Biafra's movement is seeking international recognition, financial support, and intervention to break away from Nigeria and form an independent state. The Nigerian court has taken an unexpected turn in the high-profile case of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, by now requiring him to defend himself as his legal team has withdrawn from his representation. This new development in the legal proceedings is not only surprising for those following the case closely, but also for the broader international community, as it appears that the situation has caught the attention of American political figures. United States President Donald Trump has reportedly shown interest in the case, and there are claims that top American officials have even visited the Nigerian court to observe how the Nigerian judiciary is managing the trial. This involvement from a former world leader and influential American political figures highlights the global implications of the case and raises many questions about international judicial oversight and intervention. The change in the courtroom dynamics came after Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers decided to cease their defense, leaving him to fend for himself. This has led to a dramatic scenario where Kanu, who has been at the center of a contentious struggle for over 3 years, must now represent his own interests in court. The withdrawal of his legal team suggests a deep level of discontent or strategic disagreement with the direction of his defense. Many observers believe that this development could signal a turning point in the case, as it forces the accused to directly confront the charges and the judicial system without the support of experienced legal counsel. Adding to the complexity of the situation, the involvement of United States President Donald Trump in monitoring the trial has stirred significant debate. Reports indicate that not only has President Trump shown public support for Nnamdi Kanu defending himself, but American officials have also been present at the Nigerian courtroom to witness the proceedings firsthand. This unusual cross-continental interest in a domestic Nigerian legal matter has prompted discussions about the nature of international judicial scrutiny and the possibility of political motivations behind such involvement. Some believe that the presence of high-ranking American officials could be an effort to set an example of transparency in the Nigerian legal system, while others suspect that there might be underlying political or religious agendas at play. The controversy surrounding the case is further intensified by broader allegations against the Nigerian government. Critics have claimed that the Nigerian government is complicit in supporting terrorism, with specific accusations that it has been targeting Nigerian Christians and making moves to Islamize the country. These allegations are particularly serious, given the delicate balance of religious communities in Nigeria, where there is an almost equal division between a Muslim majority in the northern regions and a predominantly Christian population in the southern parts of the country. Such claims have resonated with some in the international community, leading to protests and appeals for intervention. In response to the allegations of religious persecution and the overall insecurity in Nigeria, many Nigerian citizens have taken their grievances to the United States Congress. They have sought intervention from American lawmakers, urging them to address what they describe as widespread insecurity and the exploitation of the nation's resources. The calls for help have been amplified by supporters of the secessionist movement in the region of Biafra, who claim that they are being oppressed by the Nigerian state. These proponents of Biafra's independence are not only seeking international recognition for their cause, but also asking for financial and diplomatic support to enable them to break away from Nigeria. The intensity of these demands reflects the long-standing grievances and deep-seated frustrations among certain groups in Nigeria who feel that their concerns have been ignored by the central government. Republican Congressman Christopher H. Smith from the United States has been one of the most vocal figures on this issue. He has called for Nigeria to be designated as a country of particular concern with regard to religious freedom, a title that could lead to further scrutiny and potential sanctions. Congressman Smith based his position on reports from Christian humanitarian organizations, which claim that a vast majority of the world's persecuted Christians are suffering in Nigeria. These claims have fueled the argument that the Nigerian government is not only failing to protect its citizens, but may also be actively engaged in policies that marginalize and endanger certain religious communities. The Nigerian government, however, has repeatedly denied these allegations, arguing that the security challenges it faces are not based on religious discrimination, but rather on broader issues of criminality, insurgency, and terrorism that affect both Muslims and Christians alike. Beyond the courtroom drama and the political debates in Washington, the unfolding situation in Nigeria has deeper historical and socio-economic roots. Critics argue that Nigeria's long-standing internal conflicts, ethnic tensions, and the exploitation of its natural resources have created an environment where grievances can easily escalate into calls for secession and international intervention. The struggle of the indigenous people of Biafra, for example, is not solely about legal representation or political interference. It is also about addressing decades of economic marginalization and resource exploitation. Many within the Biafra movement contend that Nigeria, along with its foreign allies, has exploited the region's wealth while neglecting the welfare of its people. These systemic issues have led to widespread disillusionment and a sense of injustice that continues to simmer beneath the surface of Nigerian society. The combination of an unprecedented courtroom scenario, international political involvement, and deep-rooted socio-economic challenges has created a situation that is as complex as it is volatile. The news report and the accompanying video transcript reveal a narrative that is charged with emotion and urgency.
The Nigeria court in court a few hours ago, a lot of people were thinking that the case of Nnamdi Kanu will be handled the way they have been handling it for the past 3 years, but the case is finally something else. Now Nnamdi Kanu is meant to defend himself. He said his lawyers are no more defending him now. This man is meant to defend himself, and Trump actually put his support for him defending himself. Now it's not only Nigerians that are storming the court, US people are finally storming the court as well, as everywhere paused, everywhere full few hours ago. Trump is finally involved. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video, because I'm going to be playing the full video the way it goes. So if you can share the video, just where to share it. Share to the best social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share, just like it, like the video, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Welcome you back to Watch TV.
Hello my great wonderful viewers, welcome back to ipob Watch TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just do to click the Resumption button appearing here on the screen, and at the same time click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in period time, YouTube will easily let you to know. You know, the Biafra agitator have been in the custody for quite some time now. Nnamdi Kanu have been in the DSS custody, while Samanekwa as well have been in final detention. You know, all these people are fighting for the same cause, and a lot of things have been happening in Nigeria right from the time that they put them in detention. But the former president of US, Biden, wasn't seeing to everything that is happening to Nigeria. But the moment Trump got there, Trump is seeing into every matter that is happening in Nigeria. He's focusing his attention on every issue that is coming or emanating from Nigeria now. A lot of Nigerians have run to US to lodge their complaint in US Congress, and they're making it known to the general public that Nigeria is not a place to be. There's a lot of terrorism ongoing in Nigeria. Insecurity is the game of the day, and this reason is why Igbos are trying to separate themselves from Nigeria. The Biafrans are doing everything possible to leave Nigeria because they believe that the Nigerian system cannot save them again. They can't farm in their farms again. They can't go to their different institutions and make their livelihood again. But the Nigerian government turn a blind eye to every of the insecurity or the insurgency that are actually taking place in Nigeria. So some popes went to US few days ago, which you are aware of, and they lodged the complaint and all of that. So since then, Trump have been putting his eyes on what is going on in Nigeria, because they told Trump that the Nigerian government is supporting terrorists that are puffing the Nigerian Christians, and they want to by so doing Islamize Nigeria. So Trump did not want to hear anything Islamic in his ear, because he believes that US is a Christian country and Nigeria is not an Islamic country. Nigeria is a country of mixed religion. But why are they trying to Islamize Nigeria? So that's why Trump has been pointing his attention on every of the issue that have been happening in Nigeria. I see it as a substantial issue now. The court case of Nnamdi Kanu said he's not needing his lawyers to defend him again, because they cannot continue to defend him, and the old game will continue to be playing out, and he will keep him in detention. He said he himself is defending himself, and they have approved it because Trump himself is involved. You will see it for yourself as they storm everywhere today. US people who have finally arrived, you will see things the way it goes. I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video, because they want to make sure that they see how the judicial system want to manipulate things. When Nnamdi Kanu is defending himself, they want to come and witness how the judicial system will manipulate and maneuver over the case of Nnamdi Kanu. So if you can share the video as you're watching it, just do it to share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up, so that it will be recommended for us. Because the last time that Nnamdi Kanu was in court, he actually fought with his lawyers. He said he did not want to have anything to do with his lawyers again. We don't even know what transpired, but he said his lawyers are not defending him the way they ought to defend him. So Nnamdi Kanu came out, he defended himself in the last case where he accused the judge of not knowing the law. He said the judge is just doing everything possible to just turn the law upside down, that whenever it comes to his case, that they will be turning the law upside down. So the same Nnamdi Kanu in question, the younger brother have applied that Nnamdi Kanu should speak for himself. The younger brother have signed it, and they said Nnamdi Kanu is finally speaking for himself. Now the US people have been getting different complaints from Nigeria, and all of them are storming Nigeria at the moment. They want to come and witness what is ongoing as far as the case is concerned. And Biafrans also, they are storming the court. They want to see everything the way it goes, and they've released their own speech. They said Nigeria is their heirs, and whether Nigeria like it or not, that Biafran is going to go. So you will see things the way they go. So just to connect to the end of the video, if you can share it, just do it to share it, and if you can share it, just like it. First of all, let me play you the video of how they spoke about Nigeria, how they labeled Nigeria in the US media, and from there you will hear the Biafra conference and what the Biafrans are saying, what the Biafran COS is saying regarding Nnamdi Kanu and Samanekwa release, and from there you will listen to how Nnamdi Kanu is defending himself. Now just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
While the US calls South Africa's land reforms anti-white, it is now accusing Nigeria of persecuting Christians. Now, these claims were made in the US Congress, where Republican Congressman Chris Smith called for Nigeria to be listed as a country of particular concern, or CPC, in terms of religious freedom. Smith cited a recent report by the Christian charity Open Doors, which claims that 89% of Christians persecuted worldwide are in one country, Nigeria. Abuja could face sanctions if the US State Department agrees with the designation. Nigeria was placed on the CPC list during Donald Trump's first term as US President in 2020, but his successor Joe Biden removed the designation the following year. Now, Nigeria could be back on the list in Trump's second term. Nigeria's government, led by President Bola Tinubu, has strongly denied the claims from the U.S. Congress. It has expressed deep concern over what it calls misinformation and misleading reports. Nigeria insists that the widespread insecurity and attacks are not driven by religious bias or targeted against any particular faith. Abuja has clarified that the attacks occur predominantly in the Muslim northern region of Nigeria and do not specifically target any religious group. Nigeria is almost evenly divided between a Muslim majority north and a largely Christian south. Its northeast has been in the grip of jihadist violence for more than 15 years, carried out by the Islamist group Boko Haram, which has claimed more than 40,000 lives and displaced 2 million people. At the same time, large parts of the northwest, north and central regions have been hit by criminal gangs known as bandits. Now, these bandits attack villages, killing and kidnapping the residents. Then there are also frequent clashes between the Fulani herders and the farmers over land and resources. Officials say that while most farmers are Christian and most herders are Muslim, so it is not just one community that is being attacked. While for Joe Biden, Nigeria did not meet the legal threshold to be designated as a country of particular concern in the U.S. annual religious freedom list, will Trump take Abuja's concerns into account?
The government of our our neighbor Nigeria, is already notified respectfully and peacefully. And we continue to reach out and have our arms open to receiving them for a constructive and roundtable dialogue that aims at attaining a peaceful dissolution and acknowledgement of Biafra's re-establishment. We dissolve Nigeria and re-establish Biafra. An irremediable withdrawal from the amalgamation, we express our aim of achieving an amenable and favorable solution for our countries, for our country's future as neighbors, taking into consideration the people and the population. Protection of the lives and properties of the people of our both countries, achieving eventual diplomatic ties and bilateral relations and agreements. Please note that we don't have anything against the ordinary people of the failed entity of Nigeria. They are our brothers, our sisters, our families, our neighbors. They are fellow Africans. It is the government of the entity led by the inhuman crooks and fraudsters that rehabilitates no terrorists and ship them down to different parts of the country to kill Christians, to kill indigenous Nigerians. Those are the people we are referring to as the enemy of the people. We extend an olive branch and ask for the immediate withdrawal of all its bodies, military, police, security, and so on from the Biafra territory. This is for the Nigerian state to do so immediately. We've notified them before. We are notifying them again. Our government is capable and takes charge and provides for our people's needs. Seeking relation and friendship among foreign states. Our young nation, the United States of Biafra, is dedicated to establishing a mutual, favorable, and robust diplomatic ties with nations worldwide, promoting respect and cooperation. Hence, the Biafran government is officially reaching out to foreign states for recognition of our sovereignty, advocacy for our nation, establishment of bilateral relations, and cooperation in subsequent areas of common interest, like economic partnerships, humanitarian support to ensure the well-being and prosperity of our citizens. We appreciate and commend the United Nations members, Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. We also appreciate Amazonia and the Eritrean government in exile who have continued to recognize Biafra. Other countries like the Eritrean government in exile have officially recognized our independence. Several congressmen and women in the United States of America, South Korea, and Europe have expressed positive position to the independence of the United States of Biafra. But be clear, United States of Biafra does not need the recognition by the United Nations to be a sovereign state. The global political and economic community is undergoing turbulence and fragmentation. The changing geopolitical dynamics from decades of the unipolar world to an increasingly multipolar world where the influence of global powers is more fragmented is a visible development. These changes obviously affect the world global landscape economically and politically, hence cannot be ignored. The United States of Biafra acknowledges this wind of change as a positive and favorable wind and path to follow us. As we have been fighting against the transnational repression, hostile occupation, and destabilization by Nigerian terrorist state in our territory. Nigeria and its allies have maintained tight stranglehold on Biafrans and Biafra while controlling our territory to our detriment. The government of the United States of Biafra is committed to providing economic progress and stability to our people, as well as contributing promoting the similar in the African community and regions. We aim at seizing the opportunity of the current world order to work with these African heads of state who share the same ambition with Biafrans to promote the African course of reclaiming full territorial integrity and sovereignty as well as economic independence. Resource in Biafra land is a known fact that our nation Biafra is blessed with both human and natural resources. The fundamental reason for the forceful amalgamation into Nigeria and something which remains a main source of our bad situation. Through history, our resources have been exploited. It is still ongoing by Nigeria and its foreign allies. And our environment has been polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no to these decades of exploitative acts and will not give room for such to prevail or continue to prevail. We have also notified all foreign companies milking the crude oil in Biafra land to start paying the 50 million naira or 50 million AJ, which is the Biafran currency, into the Biafra government purse every month. This money will help us rebuild our nation from the devastation that's come upon us by these countries. It will also help us rebuild our nation and help us provide basic resources to our people in areas of healthcare, education, economic, agriculture, and immigration services. Such amount is a drop in the ocean compared to the thousands of dollars these companies get monthly from the Biafra territory. Public announcements have also been made on that the Monday sit at home is active in all Biafra land to tell the oil companies and the Nigerian agents that Biafra is a sovereign nation. The Monday sit at home continues and has continued for the past 2 years voluntarily by all Biafra Biafrans to send a message that Biafra is a sovereign nation and to release our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who has been held by the Biafran state for the past 4 or 5 years, despite the law system, despite the United Nations committee that told Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu and compensate him. Nigerian state have refused to do that. The Monday sit at home continues. Why we must remain steadfast in defending our independence? We all know that we as a people have been fighting against transnational repression, hostile occupation of Biafra land, and influx of terrorist insurgents and militias into our territory, sponsored and ordered by our now neighbor and ex, the failed entity. What haven't we been subjected to? Is it the repression system, the persecution of Christians? Biafrans are mostly Christians. The human rights violations for decades, the multiple and perpetual genocide, or the relentless extinction threats. Biafrans are mostly Christians, traditionalists, and Judaists. Just name some of the spacious acts of extinction driven with impunity. The 1945 sudden and savage attack on Biafrans residents in the north, who were taken completely by surprise by the Nigerian state. And before the situation could be brought under control, the bodies of Biafran men, women, and children littered the streets and their property worth thousands of pounds reduced to shambles. No consequence on those responsible, no compensation to Biafrans. The 1966 massacre of more than 700,000 Biafrans all over the failed state, simply for being Biafrans. It's only now, almost 60 years later, that some main actors and perpetrators are coming out to acknowledge their evil deed, with their final boarding pass in their hands. Our own heroes, Colonel Jubu and General Philip Elfield, as well as several other actors, narrated the true story. But the crooks either declined from commenting or went on perpetuating their lies, only to start now to attract large attention and honor for committing such atrocity on mankind. Even with their book of cruelty, they know themselves and know fully well that they have not told it all. This shows how determined they have always been on accomplishing their project of extinction of us, as they continued to do. The 1967 to 1970, together with their colonial master Britain and almost the entire world power, they executed the genocidal war that took the lives of over 5 million Biafrans. The main man, with his body parts begging to board, sheltered in their colonial master's land, wants to carry his evil to the other side. Most of them at this point have the passport about to leave because of the crime they committed against Biafra people. We leave it up to the spirit of these millions of Biafrans together with our invisible God to fight for us. Then, the RRRK, the reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reparation, which was never implemented, and the 20 pounds given to our people in place of their huge wealth. At the end of the Biafra-Nigeria Civil War, all Biafrans all over Nigeria, regardless of how much millions, regardless of how much thousands of pounds you have in your account, the Nigerian state gave them, each and every one of them, only 20 pounds. Equivalent of, if you have $20,000, if you have $1 million, if you have $100 million in your account in Nigerian state, by the end of the Civil War, Biafrans all over Nigeria were giving only 20 pounds, let me say equivalent of $20, regardless of how much you have in your bank account. That is what Nigerian state did to us, to our parents and to our grandparents. They cracked down on subsequent Biafra activists to hold us in bondage to the detriment of our people, while they and their Western allies continue to exploit our natural resources, leaving our environment polluted and grossly damaged in the process of extracting the natural resources, and has as such ruined other means of livelihood for the people. Biafra strongly says no. No to these decades of exploitative acts, and will not give room for such to prevail or for such to continue. The perpetual act of intimidation. Several hundreds of Biafrans have since been unlived. Simple for being Biafrans. Simple for being Biafrans. For being Christians or traditional worshippers or Judaism or their human and natural resources. Simply for this, Nigeria armored tanks are in several quiet communities of Biafra land as I speak now. The current situation of our supreme leader, Nnamdi Kanu, in the hands of our ex and that of our Prime Minister, Simon in the hands of our Finland, through the current Finnish government, in the hands of our ex too, should be able to convince every Biafra to support what we are doing. Both leaders should be appreciated and held high for standing in the gap for us. With the evidence in our position, their persecutions are simply politically and economically motivated by both oppressors. Their situation is quite provoking. The failed and criminal entity has since 2021, without any reason, and even acting against its own constitution and court judgments, denied our supreme leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who is in possession of British passport, his basic human rights for freedom and right to agitate for self-determination for us, his people, the indigenous people of Biafra. Their government kidnapped him from Kenya and has since then held him incarcerated under DSS in Nigeria. Notably, the government of the international community, including the current Finnish government, instead of calling Nigerian government to order, has remained mute about our situation and rather proceeded their economic deals with the entity using our population and our resources. Our Prime Minister, Simon, who is in possession of the Finland's national passport, has for close to 4 months now gotten his freedom infringed upon by the criminal enterprise and the current Finnish government. In Finland, it's obvious that our lives still don't seem to matter to our oppressors. Our lives do not matter to you. It does not matter to our oppressor, Nigeria and co. But our resources do matter to them. I know that many of you are wondering about the current Finnish government's position here. It's all about hypocrisy and double morals. But be assured that they will all reap what they sow, positively or negatively. As far as this Biafra government is concerned, the current Finnish government consents to and is hence co-responsible for the atrocities carried out on our people since November 2024. The current Finnish government has, through its unprecedented act, sabotaged the security of our nation. Our Prime Minister's absence has devastating consequences. He's been denied freedom and the right to continue leading the people of Biafra. Biafrans all over the world are devastated and worried. A record high number of atrocities and killing of hundreds of Biafrans have occurred in Biafra land since the current Finnish government's action against us and our Prime Minister in November 2024. Nigeria's human rights violation on our people is on record high, as it has intensified its efforts to intimidate, invade, and occupy our land in an effort to make us back down on our independence so that it will continue to occupy our sovereign land. No. In addition to our board leaders who are unlawfully put away by Nigeria and Finland, many Biafrans are abducted without any cause and are languishing in criminal entities, prisons, and confinements across Nigeria and in Finland, simply because they are identified as indigenous people of Biafra. They show solidarity for Biafra's self-determination. They are Christians or traditionalists or Jewish by religion or faith. Even not having enough money ready to be extorted by their terrorist armies and police scattered all over the Biafra territory is enough to be kidnapped, killed, or imprisoned.
The news reaching us that Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself in court as trial resumes on 21st, that is this Friday, okay? Now, we all are aware of Justice Omotosho's, date to commence the hearing of Nnamdi Kanu after the case has been reassigned to him. Now, Karunta, the brother to Nnamdi Kanu, is making us to understand that Nnamdi Kanu will be going to court alone to defend himself. For me, I don't know what resulted to that. However, that does not mean that he don't have counsels again. He have, and his lawyers has been doing, I think, absolutely well. So I think maybe it's because before now Nnamdi Kanu has been trying to defend himself in the court. We saw what transpired in last record proceedings with Justice Binta Nyako. Even before she asked her to recuse herself, the drama that played in court. Now, following the next court proceedings, the day she asked Nyako to recuse herself, then after Nyako did, then after the whole drama, the federal government, of which I know it was manipulated, they still returned the case file to Justice Nyako, asking her continue the case. Is it not Nnamdi Kanu? It's not the government. We are in charge. Anyway, at the end, we will truly know who is in charge. So at the end, Nnamdi Kanu prevailed in the quest of removing Justice Binta Nyako. So after that, they fixed the court date. That is where we are now. And they are telling us that Nnamdi Kanu will be going to court to defend himself. Now, this article reads that Nnamdi Kanu to defend himself in court as trial resumed on March 21st. At the end of this video, I will really ask if, just to seek public's opinion regarding this. Now, let's go through this article to understand the details of this news. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has decided to defend himself in court when his trial resumed on March 21st, 2025 at Federal High Court, Abuja. The first paragraph of this article will make you to understand that it's a personal decision, okay? He decided that he is going to defend himself. So that very day, that does not mean that his counsels will not follow him to the court, okay? That does not mean that Nando Ijimako, Maswell Obara, and the rest will not go with him to the court, but they are telling us that he has chosen to defend himself. Now, His brother Emmanuel Kanu disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday on behalf of his family. According to the statement, Kanu's decision to represent himself is to ensure a fair hearing without the legal delays that have plagued his case.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can see what a lot of people are actually saying. Moment Nnamdi Kanu actually challenged the judge in court, a lot of people were thinking that this guy is out of his mind and all of that, even to the extent that he slapped his lawyer from behind. Yeah, I played the video in this very platform where Nnamdi Kanu slapped his lawyer from behind, and that was when Nnamdi Kanu was talking and the lawyer was trying to interrupt. He slapped him from behind. He said he should stop talking whenever he is talking. Now, Nnamdi Kanu is a very, very furious man and is very, very aggressive at the moment, because a lot of people don't understand where the anger of this guy is actually coming from, because this guy has spent not even 3 months in the custody, not even a month. It's not 6 months. This guy is spending close to 4 years in detention without going home, without going to his family, without going back to the Biafra land and all of that. He has spent close to 4 years. They arrested him in June 2021, and since that time they have not released him. They did not allow him to go. Now you can see where the frustration is actually coming from, and they taking him to court right from time, taking him up and down, all of that. Now this man is not a young guy, he's an elderly person as well, so the kind of bones that he have is not as strong as the bone of young person. Now they're stressing him up and down, and yet the case did not have any solution. The same old game is what is playing out. They adjourned the case severally and all of that, and yet they're restarting the case from the beginning again. And the moment Nnamdi Kanu noticed that they're restarting his case, because they actually dismissed the judge that was handling the case and all of that, Judge Bintan and all of that, they dismissed the judge. He said it's no more handling the case again. Now another judge set in, and the moment the other judge set in, they starting the case of Nnamdi Kanu from the beginning. Now tell me, why will this man allow his lawyer to defend him again? The lawyers have been the one defending him right from time, and yet no justice is being served. They never allow him to go. Nothing is being made. Now the same story cannot continue. That was what Nnamdi Kanu said. He said his lawyers cannot continue to defend him and there will be no solution. He said he is out now to defend himself, even when he's not a lawyer. And the moment Nnamdi Kanu said he wants to defend himself, the younger brother of Nnamdi Kanu signed. He said yes, he's putting his support that Nnamdi Kanu should defend himself, even when he's not a lawyer or licensed lawyer or all of that. But they actually approved it that he should defend himself. You can hear from this video that I just finished watching, and a lot of US congressmen, they are coming down to the court. They're storming the court, and they're already entering Nigeria at the moment. You will see things for yourself. In my next video, I'm going to be playing the videos of how these people are actually storming everywhere in Nigeria. They said they want to come and witness how Nnamdi Kanu will defend himself, and the kind of thing that the judge will do, the known judge in question, because a lot of people are be doubting the known judge and all of that, while some people are giving him the credit. So they said they want to come and see, they want to come and witness how the known judge will handle the case, because this case is a substantial case of high importance. This case is not a normal national case, it's not an international case, and they develop interest in it because a lot of letters have gone to Trump. A lot of people have written him that the judicial system of Nigeria is not working. Trump is not even getting it from a single source, he's getting it from varieties of sources with different evidences and all of that. That's why the US people are storming the court, just for them to see everything the way it's going to play out. Now the case of Biafras are saying that whether they like it or not, whether the Nigerian government like it or not, they will leave, that they cannot continue to be proofing their people in their country, that the country that they call their country, they are proofing their people in farms. Terrorists and Fulanis are proofing them, but yet Nigerian government did not arrest them, did not arrest the Fulanis. And recently, the moment we heard that a farmer actually defended himself in his farm when the Fulanis were trying to invade his farm, he tried defending himself, and the moment he tried defending himself, the Fulani tried to attack him and all of that, so they fought themselves. But at the end of the day, the farmer actually apprehended the Fulani by proofing the Fulani. Instead of the Fulani to proof him, he proofed the Fulani, and after proofing the Fulani, they took him to court and they gave him death sentence and all of that. But this have never happened in the history of any country before, where Fulanis were actually proofing people and justice is not being served to the people, just for them to receive justice. No justice is being made. But the moment the farmers retaliate and they pull the Fulani, they give them death sentence. This is Nigeria, where all these things are actually happening now. US is finally putting their attention on everything that is ongoing in Nigeria, and they said they will never relent because Nigeria is now labeled in US as a country of high importance, and their focus is on Nigeria at the moment. Even the regime of Tinubu, their focus is on Nigeria. So Tinubu is panicking because he never wanted to face sanction from the Trump administration and all of that.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.